What if the very thing that you were told would make you free was actually designed to keep you dependent? What if your struggle with porn isn't about a personal failure, but the predictable result of an industry that learned how to train the male brain? Because here's the truth that most men have never heard. You aren't weak. You aren't broken. You weren't born addicted. You were being targeted. And today I want to pull back the curtain on the porn industry, where it came from, talk about how it works, and the lie it's been selling men for decades. You see, most men think they're fighting a habit. They think, I just need more discipline. I just need more willpower. I need to try harder. But the truth is, you're not fighting a habit. You're fighting a system designed to capture your attention, train your desires, and keep you coming back. And it's not because it cares about you, but because your attention is the product. And once you see that clearly, everything begins to change. Porn didn't start the way that it exists today, though. For most of history, it lived in the shadows. It was taboo, underground, restricted. Then something changed. In the late 60s and 70s, porn began rebranding itself. No longer dangerous, no longer corrupting. Now it was art, entertainment, sexual liberation. The Playboy industry, the Playboy era was beginning. And this was just the first lie. Before porn could addict the masses, it needed to stop being seen as harmful. Once culture stopped questioning it, the door was now open. And then came home video. For the first time, porn didn't require a public place, a clerk, or any level of accountability. It moved into private spaces, your home, your room, your isolation. Porn didn't grow because it got better. It grew because it became quieter. Then came the internet, and this is when everything changed. Now the game had been changed completely. Researchers call this the AAA engine. Accessibility, affordability, and anonymity. What that translates to is porn becomes always available, mostly free and completely private. Every addiction in history required friction, but porn removed it. No effort, no waiting, no one watching in the shadows, just instant stimulation whenever you wanted it. And then the content became a machine. At first, porn was just about content, video games, magazines, DVDs, but today, porn is a platform. It operates like social media. Every click, every second you watch, every category you search, all of it is being tracked, not to help you, but to keep you engaged longer. Porn just doesn't respond to your desires, it shapes them. The algorithm in escalation, here's what most men don't realize. Porn doesn't want you satisfied. It wants you scrolling. So it trains you through endless novelty, faster switching, longer sessions. What worked yesterday won't work today. So the content begins to escalate, more extreme, more specific, more intense. Not because you're broken, but because your brain has become adapted exactly the way that it was designed to. Now let's talk about what this does to the male brain. Porn just doesn't hijack pleasure. It hijacks anticipation, the chase, the hunt, the next click. That dopamine loop trains your brain to live in constant seeking and lose interest in real efforts, real connection, real intimacy, real growth. Porn trains your brain to prefer novelty over commitment, fantasy over reality, and comfort over challenge. And slowly, drive begins to disappear. This is why so many men say, I hate this. I don't even enjoy it. Why do I keep going back? Because this isn't about desire anymore. It's about conditioning. Your brain learned a path long before you made a conscious choice. That's not weakness, that's training. Now let's talk about what never appears on the homepage. Behind the scenes of this industry are documented cases of coercion, non-consensual consent, and exploitation. There have been lawsuits, government investigations, platforms forced to remove millions of videos, not because they suddenly grew a conscience, but because they were exposed. An industry doesn't accidentally profit from exploitation. It ignores it until it's being forced to stop. Now, the biggest lie is the lie of freedom. Porn sells itself as freedom, sex positive, no shame, self-expression. But let me ask you this. If it was freedom, why does it steal your self-control? If it was empowerment, why does it leave men isolated, numb, and ashamed? Anything that takes your power and calls it freedom is lying to you. Now, the most dangerous part is men turn that blame inward. I'm the problem. There's something wrong with me. No, that's not the truth. You were introduced at an early age. You were conditioned consistently. You were trained intentionally. Awareness is just the first act of freedom. Now, what a rebuilt man does exist. A rebuilt man doesn't stay angry. He doesn't stay ashamed. And he doesn't pretend he didn't see what he just saw. A rebuilt man takes responsibility without self-hatred, because the answer isn't more willpower, it's clarity, and most importantly, a new identity. Now, when a man sees the system clearly, he stops funding what's been destroying him for decades. This episode here today isn't to get you to try to quit harder. This episode is about waking you up and choosing a different path. And that's exactly why we built and created the Rebuilt Man community in the 7-day porn reset. This isn't a lifetime fix, but it is a first stand, a decision to step out of the cycle and start rebuilding the man you were meant to be. Freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want. It comes from becoming the man who decides. You were never weak. Brother, you were targeted and now you're awake. And if you're ready to take claim, if you're ready to rebuild your life and identity, I want to extend an invitation to join us inside the Rebuilt Man community. For 7 days, you can get access to daily accountability. You can get access to a system, a framework that produces real and lasting change. You can rebuild your identity. You can rewire your brain, and you can reclaim what has always been yours. Join us in the 7-day reset at therebuiltman.com/7-day reset, or click the link down there in the show notes below. But brother, you've been lied to. You've been coerced. You've been targeted. And now is the opportunity for you to reclaim what is rightfully yours. Join us in the 7-day reset by clicking the link down there in the show notes below. And brother, I'll see you on the inside.